What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record. I'm the founder of Atlas Academy, and welcome to day 3 of the Paid Traffic Academy. I'm so excited because Michael Crouch is going to come out and teach Facebook ads today, right? Facebook ads are literally what I know the most about. TikTok ads are fairly new. We've taught about TikTok ads. He's going to teach Facebook ads. Also, he's going to be diving more into some of the training on yesterday's episode that was cut short. For example, we got a lot of feedback from people that they wanted to see. They were really excited at the end when he started talking about high level and how to be able to set things up. And they're like, wait, can we go another hour? Michael has promised to come out today and to be able to train more on that and show you how to be able to set that up. He's also going to be running Facebook lead ads today. He's going to be talking about lookalike audiences and custom audiences. It is going to be packed with value. Michael asked me to come out real quick while he's getting some stuff prepared and to be able to speak for a few minutes to you about some concepts. So what I have here in the background is 8 sources of traffic. So for the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to talk about these 8 sources of traffic, what they mean to me, what they can mean to you, and we're going to have some fun with it. So the other day, I got a conversation with some affiliate marketers, some people that are all millionaires, and they started hearing buzz about what I'm doing with Atlas Academy. First of all, they think I'm crazy. They think I'm crazy because they're like, wait, I did the math, and that's $1 per episode. And I go, yeah, it's $1 per episode. They're like, well, where do you make any money? How can you make money? They're like, wait, why don't you just stop that? And why don't you just take the Paid Traffic Academy and give it to us? Let us sell for $1,000 on a 50-50 split. So there's affiliates out there right now that are like, bro, if you just package that, take it out of Atlas and just make it Paid Traffic Academy and sell it for $1,000. They're like, bro, we make hundreds of thousands of dollars together. And I said, well, that's not what we do here. What we do here is we want to make the education affordable to the masses. We want to teach them the same type of education that they normally have to pay $1,000 for. Once you put $1,000 wall in front of your house, people can't get through. It's $1,000 gate. It's too expensive. $20 a month is affordable for everybody. So they asked me, though, well, what are you using for traffic? What are your sources of traffic? And I got in a conversation with them, and I went ahead and decided to share that all with you guys today. So I'm going to walk through these 8 sources of traffic, and I'm going to walk through something that's called short-term and long-term so you understand the difference, okay? So let's start with that. There's a short game and there's a long game. The short game is essentially like, what could you do in the next 30 days to actually get results promoting anything? And then the long game is, what could you do now that will pay dividends for you 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 12 months from now, you name it. Like what are those different things? Well, advertising is short game. You can just spend money to skip the line, right? It's short game strategy. Advertising is what everybody should do if you're looking for immediate results. There's really 2 things that get you immediate results. I would say one is warm market, people that already know you, like you, and trust you. That's the KLT factor. Anybody that already knows you, likes you, and trusts you, warm market. That's why things like network marketing companies explode, even though it's all amateurs and all beginners. They explode because warm market is the easiest, fastest way for anybody to be able to expose an opportunity, a product, or a service. Then there's advertising, which is simply using money to be able to reach people. You don't need a following, you don't need a brand, you don't need to speak well, you don't need experience, you just need to learn how to run ads. So that's all short game. Long game would be something like a YouTube channel. A YouTube channel, you should not expect results in your first 30 days. If anything from the YouTube channel, you're really going to be building out a channel and being consistent with it. And then over the course of a year, that channel can be something that provides more ongoing commissions for you for free without paying for it than paid ads do. So you want to have both strategies going on at the same time. Another example of long game would be like a blog. If you were to go start up a blog today and you were writing an article a day, you're probably not going to get any traction the first 30 days. But after a year of being consistent with it, you're going to see a lot of traction. Now, the thing about long game is that beginners are scared of the long game. They're unable to commit to anything for the long term. And their reasons or obstacles or excuses are, well, I'm not making enough money to stay committed to that, or I'm not seeing enough results fast enough to be able to commit to that, or it's taking too much time and I'm not seeing a return on that time. But the problem is that that's what separates professionals from amateurs. Professionals know they have the expectation going in that it's going to take some time. And so they don't have an expectation to see an immediate result. They don't have an expectation it's going to make immediate income. And so anybody you see that's got a successful YouTube channel or a successful blog or whatever it might be. Anybody that's got that has probably been doing it for a long time. A successful podcast, they've probably been doing it for a long time, and they had the ability to be able to stick to it long enough where now it's spinning out results. Once you build up that organic empire, organic is like kind of like you've got yourself out there with enough free content. Those are like little soldiers on a battlefield that are just bringing in money. They're fighting for you every single day. Example, YouTube. When I first started my YouTube channel, I would get like 300 views per video, and that was after mailing my list. I would mail my list every single video, and I'd still only get like 300 views. I just wasn't popping off. Then I had a video get 1,000 views, and I thought to myself, okay, this is working. But 1,000 views is not going to make any money, so there was no expectation to get money. But I stuck with it, and then I got to 1,000 subscribers, then 5,000, then 10,000. Then it kind of stalled out. But here's what happened. Those videos that I had created a year earlier were still getting new views, new comments, new likes, and new subscribers. So even if I stopped, that 10,000 subscribers was going to keep growing. So sure enough, I took a break from YouTube and I started watching my subscribers still grow. Then I came back to YouTube, did it again, and grew it to 100,000 plus subscribers. I got one channel, I think it's got 50,000 subscribers, another channel with like 100,000 plus. Combined between my channels, I might have 5 to 10 million views. I don't know exactly, but millions and millions of views, over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube sent me a plaque and have made like well over $1 million from those channels. However, in the beginning, it was very easy to want to give up. So to play the long game, you got to have that long game strategy. So these right here, these came up in a conversation as to, well, Chris, what are you currently doing to be able to drive traffic or awareness to your projects? And so I'll read them all, just in case you can't read them if the writing's too small, and then I'll explain each one. So first, the first two are really the same. It's social media, just using, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, social media, right? So the first one, you got social media personal, and the second one, you got social media faceless. Social, personal, social, faceless. Personal is pretty self-explanatory. I have a personal profile on all of the major social networks, and so I need to have a plan as to how I'm going to use that profile to be able to create interest. Now, on your personal profile, depending on which platform it is, like let's start with Facebook. My grandma's on there, my aunt's on there, my uncle's on there, my dad's on there, my sister's on there, my cousin's on there. Do I really want to come across as like all I do is sell? Maybe some of you don't care. You're like, yeah, actually, that's what I want to do. But there might be some finessing that you need to do there, especially if you haven't already built the context that you're a marketer on Facebook. Whereas I have that context, so I can basically be a marketer. If you haven't built that context, you don't want to just jump right into it because it won't work. It's not what your audience is used to. And so what you need to do is you need to start figuring out what kind of content is going to work for your personal social media strategy. What information can you put out there that's not salesy? What information can you give away for free? What examples can you show of what you're learning? What notes can you share? What can you do that might attract people to want to DM you and want to reach out to you for more information? So on your personal social, that's all I'd recommend. Be somebody who is value driven, just provides a lot of value for free. No one even knows you're selling anything. And then you tell people if they're interested in more of that they can reach out to you by DM, by direct message. And then you're going to message them in back. So I do this. My DMs are full every single day. I get between 40 to 50 DMs a day. I've gotten a system. I downloaded the Messenger app. I've got a system where I keep those clean every single day, go through them. I even check my other folder, my spam folder, because there's a lot of money sitting in those folders because people that DM me that were not friends, they don't go to my main inbox. So I, at least every single day, it's one of my income producing activities is I check my Messenger and I try to follow up with as many people as possible. The second is social faceless. So what you do here is you create a whole second set of social media accounts on everywhere. You create it on TikTok, a new Facebook, a new Instagram, a new YouTube, everything. But this time, it's not Chris Record. It's not the orange hat. It's not my face. It's not my voice. Now, it might be something like I created a brand, for example, called the AI Fashionista. The AI Fashionista is an example of a faceless brand. It's a woman who is into beauty, cosmetics, vlogging, and she's into AI. And she's basically a whole brand that I created. We'll teach this in the AI and the faceless weeks coming up. But there's a whole entire brand I created. Now I can take that brand and I can build that out multi-platform. No one ever needs to know it's me. Now that one I don't mind sharing, but there's going to also be a lot of faceless brands that I'm building. All I do now is I invest my money, pay other people to build faceless content because I don't really want to spend my time doing that. But I could build this faceless empire of all like motivational channels, entrepreneur channels, network marketing channels, AI channels, and I could do all of this without my face. And all I'm doing is paying somebody. I want you to develop a new piece of content every day for 30 days and on this standard, and here's my price. So this is a long game strategy. I don't expect to make any of these money from any of these channels for the next 6 months, but I could be building them out, and there will come a point where a few of those channels kick off like winners, right? So now I'm just literally going out there and building out these channels, helping them go viral, boosting them with TikTok ads, stuff like that. Once they actually get a big following, I'm in a position where I can start monetizing those channels. And eventually I believe that my faceless brands will make more than my personal brands. Next is affiliates. Now, inside of Atlas Academy in the Internet Income System, we have this built in for you. So there's really nothing you need to do. As you refer new members, the compensation plan rewards you with a 40% matching bonus. And so, for example, if I refer Mike Known, and Mike Known buys the $20 package, I earn 100% commissions, right? And then he goes and buys the other packages, the creator and the mentor, I earn $100 and another $400. So altogether, he bought all the packages. I just made $520. But now when he goes and refers people, there's a second tier commission. So when he goes and refers somebody to do the same, he made $520 just like me. But now I made an additional matching $100 bonus and matching $400 bonus. So I just made an additional $500 in my bank account without actually doing anything. Literally, without doing anything. It's a 2-tier compensation plan. Whatever checks you get a match on that. And so affiliates is a major source of traffic, because if you could just get good at finding people that are affiliates, just finding one affiliate could potentially result in thousands or tens of thousands of additional dollars for you to be able to fund everything else. But let's say that you're not building the Internet Income System. Let's say you're watching this because maybe you're doing something else entirely. Maybe you're really good at a skill. You could create a course. You could create a course kind of like I did with Atlas Academy. I use a service called Kartra to put together this members area. You can always go find a service that builds members areas like Kartra, Kajabi, WordPress, ClickFunnels, HighLevel. All of these different tools build membership sites, and you can put together your own. And you could train. It could be AI training, or it could be you training. Maybe you have a skill. Maybe it's photography. Maybe it's video editing. Who knows what it is? Maybe it's clipping. It could be any kind of skill. You could teach it, and you could charge $100 per person for access to your course. In which case, now you can go reach out to affiliates and say, I'll give you 50% of every single sale that you make if you refer people into my members area. And so now you got these affiliates that are actually driving traffic on your behalf. They're actually going out there, they're marketing. So what I like about affiliates is it's multiplication versus addition. If I go out over here and I get just one person, I made a sale. But if I go to an affiliate, I get one person, that might make 10 sales or 100 sales or 1,000 sales. And you might even find a Chris Record, somebody who can do 6 figures in a day of a promotion for you, right? That's the ultimate goal. You build your way up there. Number 4, free courses. So another example is you don't have to charge for your course. You could put together a course and just give it away free. I do this all the time. This is how I built a lot of my list. I've shared stories about how I created an Instagram course for beginners back in 2015 or something. I had just jumped on Instagram and I had like 300 followers. And even though I only had 300 followers, I made a course. I made a course called Beginagram, Instagram for Beginners. And I said, our goal with this course is to get you your first 2,000 followers and say, hey, just to be honest, I'm a beginner. I'm just getting started myself. I figured I'm going to be researching and learning how to grow my following. Why not share it with you as well? And you'll watch me grow my account to 2,000 followers, and then you'll be able to just duplicate. And I said, wouldn't you rather learn from somebody who actually can relate to you as a beginner rather than somebody who has 1 million followers, right? This is going to be more realistic. And I said, there's one last reason you want to listen to me, even though I'm a beginner, is that the course is free. There's just no cost. So you could just watch along for free. So I created this free course. That free course ends up generating over 10,000 leads. Those 10,000 leads end up making me over $1 million because I know how to email. I know how lifetime value works. I know how to monetize that over time. So giving away free courses is a great lead magnet, because once you get people inside of a course, you also can promote other affiliate offers and things like this. I actually would like to teach a full academy. If there's enough interest on this, I'll dedicate an entire week towards teaching you how to be able to do free and paid courses and finding affiliates. I just need to make sure that enough people actually want to do that before I dedicate an entire week out of that. But I think this would be really, really fun. Okay, that moves us to the right side, 5 through 8. Now, the right side is all ads. This is the short game, right? The short game is literally ads. This is literally just like Mike Crouch says, paying to skip the line. So over here, you have TikTok ads, Facebook ads, retargeting ads, and influencer ads. And that's also how we've structured this entire week, right? Day 1 was a big overview. Day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. So right now we're over here on Facebook ads for today. But these sources of traffic, there's a lot of other places to advertise. For example, YouTube ads is not on there, and YouTube ads is a great source. So these are all the things that I have my eye on right now. These are all things that I'm either actively doing or actively building campaigns for, or actively hiring agencies to run for me, or hiring people to run for me. So this, to me, these 8 sources, this is enough right here that I believe that I can make $1 million a month in net income from just these without ever having to do anything else. That's the scalability of that. I've seen it happen before. I believe that that's possible. I believe I get to $10 million a year. And instead of gross would be just $10 million gross, and then all the money gets paid out. I actually have done that before. I've done $10 million years, but I only end up with like $1 million or $2 million of it at the end of the year. So it's really about $100,000 a month take home. Whereas this, my next goal is to be able to shoot for those same metrics, but make it where it's more like $1 million a month take home. Now, I may not personally profit that. I may still have deductions and write-offs and business expenses, but at the end of the day, that's my goal. My goal is to be in a position where if I wanted to take that as profit, that would be an option. And so that's scalable just with these. So when I talk about the 8 sources of traffic, there's more like 100 sources of traffic. These ones right here are my favorites. I wanted to take a few minutes to be able to share those with you. Yesterday, we talked in depth about TikTok ads. Today, we're going to talk about Facebook ads. Tomorrow's retargeting ads, then influencer ads. This right here is the short game. These are a little bit more long game, because even if you're giving something away for free, it's going to be a while. And even if you're creating a course and getting affiliates, you still have to take the time to be able to record all the videos, be able to figure out how to put together courses. Your first course, you shouldn't expect to be a massive success. It's probably going to be a learning experience. So these are all the long game. This is all the short game, with the exception of warm market. If you get good at promoting the warm market, that is short game. So these 8 sources of traffic, I wanted to share with you real quick. And what we're going to do now is we're going to transition into day 3 of the Paid Traffic Academy, which is going to be Facebook ads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Michael Crouch. And so Mike, if you can start getting ready. And I'm going to bring him up, and he's going to share 2 things really. One is going to be Facebook ads, and 2 is going to kind of fill in some of the blanks from yesterday to make sure we're moving everybody along in a process together. And so I'm going to bring him up. He's got his laptop here. And then if you're on Zoom, you're going to see what's on this laptop. If you're watching on demand, don't worry, we're recording this and we're going. In fact, Mike, let me ask you a question. Do you have screen recording software on your computer by chance? Would you mind when you come up here doing a backup copy? Because your screen recording will give a high quality versus the Zoom sometimes more pixelated. All right. So with that being said, that's it for me, you guys. I may come back at the end. And there's a clock down here. This clock says 4:39 Pacific time. We have a hard stop at 6 p.m. We always do our best to try to hit that. That leaves us an hour and 20 minutes of pure content, pure value from Michael Crouch. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. There's no need for an introduction. I've already given him plenty, but Michael knows what he's talking about when it comes to Facebook ads. He's done 7 figures in Facebook ads. This has been a bread and butter for him. He even broke records in the print-on-demand industry with his Facebook ads. Very knowledgeable. Everybody, welcome Michael Crouch.
Well, aloha, everyone. Michael Crouch here, and appreciate you guys for tuning into this Paid Traffic Academy. We are going to be diving into one of my favorite subjects, which is going to be paid ads. Are we going to be on this one here? Oh. We got a multiple camera setup here, so I might start off from the top. You want me to start on this one? Okay. Good? All right. Aloha, everyone. Michael Crouch here, and welcome to day 3 of the Paid Traffic Academy. And I'm super excited to be diving into one of my favorite subjects, which is Facebook ads. So Facebook ads is really just kind of a tried and true method to skip the line when it comes to being able to scale. And so when it comes to paid ads, again, this is really one of the ways that we can skip, again, just be able to go from not having a list, not having a following, not having really anywhere to start from, and be able to massively scale by using a paid ads platform. Now, we learned TikTok, which is obviously very, very powerful when it comes to the cost, Now, Facebook, luckily for us, is basically identical. TikTok was built essentially to emulate Facebook, but where Facebook really, really succeeds is it's very much a buyer demographic. So Facebook is really kind of the home to where a lot of big marketers and sales companies and products scale, because they know that that's kind of going to be the demographic that is going to be the highest rate of purchasing. And so that's why, we really are going to want to dive into Facebook ads and learn it. Now, I'm going to spend some time covering a little bit of what we covered yesterday, just because I really want to drive home how important it is to do your research. This is kind of like what Chris said, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. One of the ways that I think this applies the most is in researching and in getting your ad right, not by trying to be the most creative person in the world. That's actually what we don't want to do. It's actually kind of fun because I'm a very creative person. I love to be creative. Actually, my very first kind of position in the world of tech was I got out of the Marine Corps. I was a cryptological linguist, or I was in a program called Signals Intelligence, which doesn't necessarily apply to the real world all that much unless you're going to go and join the CIA or something like that. And so I got out of the Marine Corps not really necessarily knowing what I wanted to do. And I was lucky enough that I got into working for an advertising agency, and I had a guy take me under his wing that basically, was amazing at ads, amazing at Photoshop, amazing at creating essentially all these beautiful ads for companies. And he kind of showed me the ropes. And the funny thing is at the time I was so bad at it, but this guy just like really believed in me, and he could do anything I could do in an hour, he could probably do in 5 minutes. And so he would have me doing these tasks and, doing design and things like that. And it would just take me forever. And I'd be like, bro, I know you can do this in like 5 minutes. Why are you having me do this? And he was just always so nice. And he was like, look, Mike, he's like, it's taking you an hour now, but keep doing it. And you're going to, one day you're going to be like me. And so here we are, fast forward, about 20 years later. And, now I can do it in 5 minutes too. But that being said, kind of having that exposure to the creative world was really helpful in the sense that you realize how powerful the visuals are. So you realize how powerful the imagery is, how powerful the headlines are. These are really the drivers of what we talk about as the stop or the hook when we look at an ad, right? But even being a creative person and even having that exposure, you don't want to rely on yourself to be this like oral of creativity, right? It's like a lot of pressure to be like, okay, well, I'm creative, so now I need to be coming up with all these creative ideas all the time. And luckily, that's not how the game works, right? We talked about that a little bit on one of the previous calls of the Netflix special that I watched about creativity, and how the most creative people in the world in all the different fields of being an artist or being an actress or being an architect all took their best work from the greats that came before them, right? And so when it comes to ads, this is exactly how the game works. And we're going to use things like Facebook ads library and TikTok's ad library to kind of go in and see what's working so that we can take our time, move slowly, get a grasp of what's going to work, and then execute, right? Because it's not going to do us any good. A lot of people are like, go, 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 go. And I definitely believe in that balance that, you can absolutely have analysis paralysis, and you can absolutely just, overthink it to the point that you never launch. So you don't want to be on that side of the spectrum, right? But you also don't want to be on the side of the spectrum where you're like, oh, let's just get some out. Let's get some out. We got to go. We're going to make money. And then you're pushing. But the stuff that you're pushing, or the ads or the images or the videos, they just aren't up to par, right? Because if you do that, you can put in all this effort, and ultimately you're going to get the same amount of results as if you just had analysis paralysis and basically did nothing, except maybe you might learn, that your ads weren't that good, which you probably could have, again, just spend a little more time and learn that without spending any money. So what we want to do is find that balance, right? We want to find that balance of being able to push the narrative, push our ads forward, get them out, but also take enough time to really look and see what's working so that we can really make a very educated guess as to what is going to work, right? I like to make the analogy of kind of I went to a ride at Disneyland. It's the Millennium Falcon. I don't know if any of you guys have been on this ride, but if you go on this ride, there are 3 positions on the ship, right? There's the pilot, there's the shooter, and there's the engineer, right? These are like the 3 positions. And if you go on this ride, you're either going to be the pilot, the shooter, or the engineer. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you've ever been on this ride. Okay, it's a pretty cool ride at Disneyland. So this ride to me is a very powerful metaphor in business, right? Because you need to be all of these things, right? To me, the pilot is the person that's really pushing it forward. That's really the drive to essentially get your ads out, get your business going. This is like piloting the ship, right? The shooter is essentially, once you're going, you need to have accuracy as you're kind of traveling at warp speed along the world of business to see the opportunities as you're moving and to be able to kind of pick those off with accuracy, right? And so we inherently know those, right? We got to drive the ship and we got to fire at, our targets that we're going to hit to be successful. But one of the things that people leave behind, and one of the things that's really important, is to also be the engineer, right? You can't push the warp speed if your gears and your sprockets and, your engine's a little shaky, right? It's going to blow up the whole ship. And so we need to take that time, kind of like what Chris said, when, moving in 90-day intervals, right? Taking that break. That's the equivalent of pulling out a warp speed, taking a look at the ship, fixing the gears, fixing the sprockets, making sure everything's smooth, and then going back to warp speed, right? And so in the world of advertising, this is going to be taking that time to turn your ads off or to not run them, do some research, and dive in and see what's working, so that then once you have a good grasp on it, boom, now we can go to warp speed and we can hit the gas and we can start to fire at our targets, okay? So that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen with you, and we're going to take a little look again at the Facebook ads library. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of just take a little glance at what people are doing and what we feel is working the best, okay? So this is Facebook ads library, and here you can see I have our main man, Tai Lopez, pulled up, and this is just an example. We can kind of go through here and we can, again, take a look at what's working. Now, the cool thing is we can also see how long some of these ads have been running, right? So if we come down here, we can see he has an ad that's been running since September. We continue to scroll, and we see ads as we go down, right? And the older the ad gets, then the more probable it is that that ad is making money. Now, I want to actually pull up another friend of mine who is actually his business partner, who is Dr. Alex Mayer. Now, for those of you that know of Dr. Alex, very smart guy. He was a NASA scientist. He sold his company Zeus for $300 million just a few years ago. A good friend of mine, very, very powerful businessman, really knows what he's doing, right? So again, another great person that you can copy, right? And I'm sure you guys know a lot of these people that you can go in and say, hey, I know this guy, they're doing really good. Maybe it's Keala, maybe it's Chris, maybe it's Ty, maybe it's Alex, maybe it's Grant Cardone. But you guys can go in and use these tools to see what's working. And sometimes you can uncover some really, really cool stuff that's really simple. This ad in particular, if we look right here, I love this ad because it pops. To me, this ad is very artistic, but look at it. It's so simple, right? And these are the ads a lot of the times that we find that, again, they trigger that 777, right? When we're scrolling, they trigger that stop for us to be like, wow, this is really cool. Like this is engaging. Like, what is this? This is a, like kind of a bright pink reddish sprinkled donut, with this blue background, and it really pops. And it's a really good stop that will kind of drive you into whatever the main offer is, right? And so the thing that I really look for when I'm kind of browsing through the ads library is I look for things like this, right? Because ultimately, a lot of the time, some of the simplest ads are some of the ones that convert the best, right? Because if we're scrolling, granted, like a really catchy video can a lot of times do the trick, but at the same time, a really catchy video could take you a lot more time to produce. And at the same time, if somebody's scrolling, sometimes something like this that's bright and bubbly and it pops could get you to stop at a higher rate than a video that would take you 10 or 20x the time to produce, right? And so I really highly encourage that you guys kind of jump on to Ads Manager. Maybe think of some of your favorite entrepreneurs, marketers, some of your favorite companies that are, have products that you like, and go and research them and see what they're doing. Because the thing about advertising is that regardless of what you're marketing, it's really ubiquitous across the board of how these principles apply, right? So sometimes, we'll show ads for, Alex or Ty, and some of you guys might think, well, hey, how does this apply to my business? I might be selling a product, or I might be selling Atlas. But we have to understand that the same psychological principles apply and the same rules apply, right? We talk about the number one and number two driver of sales, right? Is a quality lead source as well as nurturing, right? So I've raised, a lot of money for different real estate funds and different investment funds out there. And I can tell you that even that process of running ads for these big funds and raising tens of millions of dollars is more similar, I would say 90% more similar than different to running an ad for anything, running an ad for a product, running an ad for a t-shirt, running an ad for Atlas. So really, it's not about what you're offering. It's more about understanding the principles of how to be catchy, how to create that powerful stop, how to create that powerful hook, and then to transition them into your offer, right? Whether that's a video sales page or a funnel or a bridge page or some of the different things you're going to be learning about. All of these kind of principles will apply no matter what you're offering, right? So that's why this is such a powerful skill with paid ads, is because once you learn it, you realize that it applies to everything. That's why I'm very grateful that when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was able to have a learning position in an advertising agency with the graphical side, because same kind of thing is that when you're learning graphics and you're learning the ads that pop and the different things that attract in the world of marketing, they apply to everything, right? It's not like it's a singular thing. It applies to the whole world of marketing. And so again, that's why I love teaching this stuff, because I feel like it's really going to empower you guys. So no matter what you do, you're going to have this in your tool chest to be able to market for anything that you ever do in life. You're going to have this ability, and this stuff that we're going to teach right now on this call, just so you guys know, has been working for the last decade. So everything that we're showing you has been working for 10 years plus. I mean, versions of it have been working for longer than that, but literally kind of the exact sequence of what we're going to show you has just been crushing it for, such a solid amount of time that that you can take this and run with it, right? And so some of the concepts we're going to teach you with high level are going to put you in that position of being right where you want to be as far as an early adopter, because that's going to be what's going to give you the kind of the secret sauce, if you will, to take those quality leads and then to put them into a Swiss Army knife app to do that nurturing, right? Because the number one and number two driver of sales is going to be a quality lead source. We already learned TikTok. Today, we're going to learn Facebook. And then the second part is nurturing, which is all about communication. And again, within high level, we're going to have that Swiss Army knife tool to do that. And so I'm going to take you guys into high level after we run the ad and show you guys how that nurturing actually happens, right? Now, a lot of you guys have high level already, so you guys are familiar. I know if you guys don't have high level yet, we highly recommend that you do pick up a free trial of it. And I know that Chris will be dropping a link below this video so that you guys can go ahead and grab that if you don't have it already. But that's going to be the communication tool that you're going to want to have to essentially, once those leads come in from these TikTok ads, from these Facebook ads, that you have I call it the control center. It's almost like you're Captain Kirk in the Starship Enterprise, and you've got all of your marketing tools or all of your communication tools, sitting there, and you're just kind of sitting in the captain's chair and you're pushing all the buttons, right? So that is that. So let me go ahead and dive into the actual running of the ad. So I really do want you guys to spend a good amount of time on these different research tools. So going on to Facebook ads library, TikTok ads library, definitely play with this. Take the time, be the engineer, go in there, and it's not a waste of time to sit around and look at some of the greats and see what they're doing, because this is where the creativity comes from. It's not going to, come from you sitting there and, again, trying to be the oracle of good design. It's going to come from you taking the time to be the engineer, dive in, flow is smooth, smooth is fast, find things that are working and running, and then from there, you can go and run your own ads, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open up my screen here, and we are going to dive into the world of Facebook advertising. So this right here is called the Business Manager. This is going to kind of be your control center for all of Facebook, okay? So this is a screen that I like to go to when I'm opening up Facebook. Now, I'm not going to be showing you guys on this video how to actually set up your business account, but you can easily go to Google Business Account or Google Business Manager, and you can go ahead and set up an account if you don't have one. Once you have it, you're going to go ahead and go to business.facebook.com, and you're going to get to a screen similar to this. This is going to be where you're going to jump in when you dive into Facebook ads. This is going to be the Business Manager. You're going to access this by going to business.facebook.com /settings. Okay, so kind of this top part up here is what you're going to go to, business.facebook.com /settings, and you're going to get to this screen. If this screen does not pop up, you're going to go ahead and click here on the little gear icon in the bottom left, and you are going to make sure that you are in the business settings tab. Okay. So once you are here, you're going to see this left-hand menu that's going to have a lot of stuff going on here. Now, the good news is that you are not going to have to learn all this stuff. Okay. So I have been doing Facebook for quite some time. I have spent millions and millions of dollars on Facebook, and I can honestly tell you that I haven't clicked on half of this stuff. Okay. So that's the good news. What we're going to focus on here is the stuff that you do need to know. Okay. So there's really a few things that you need to successfully run an ad, okay? And those things are going to be pages right here. That is going to be the Facebook page where the actual Facebook ad runs from, okay? There's going to be the ad account down here. This is going to be where the ads sit. So the way that you can think of these two things, and I'm sure you guys have obviously seen plenty of Facebook pages. So the page itself is like the visual, right? That's essentially like the Instagram account, or in Facebook case, that's the Facebook account where the ad is going to come from. So when you see the ad pop up, it's going to be from that page, right? But the control of that ad, or the, kind of engineering of that ad, is going to happen in the ad account, right? So you're going to need to have both of those things. And so to set these up, it's really easy. Now, I pre-set up an Atlas advertising one here so that we can kind of just jump in, but I will show you guys how you can do this on your own, so you can set it up for yourself. So what you would do with the pages here is you would come on to pages, you would click on the blue button here, and you would have three options: to add a page, to request access to a page, or to create a page. Now, 99% of the time, you're probably just going to be creating a new page, and so you're going to click here on this bottom one, okay? Once you get here, it's going to ask what kind of a page it's going to be. So in this case, we can say it's going to be a company. For this one, we could call this Atlas example. And we'll go ahead and choose a category. We'll come down here to education, and we'll go ahead and create the page. Now, once the page is created, all we have to do is we can go in there and we can personalize it if we want to. So once this page is up here, we'll notice that we can come over here to where it says view page, and we can go ahead and click on that. And this is going to open up what the page actually looks like from a creative perspective, right? So here is where we could get in. Now we're going to have to actually switch over here to our Atlas example page. So we would go ahead and switch. And once we switch that over, we can now come in here, and we won't do the tour, but we can come in here and we can start to customize it, right? So we can come in here and we can add an image. this image actually here where the A is going to be the most important because that's the image that's actually going to show up in the ad, right? So when you have an ad that pops up, you're always going to see kind of that circle there with the logo. So this little guy right here, this little circular A is going to be the image that actually shows with your ad. So you want to put a nice little logo in there, and you want to make sure that it kind of fits to the whole circle. Sometimes people put little words in here where you can't see it. You have to remember that when this is shown on an ad, it's going to be very, very small. So this would be an opportunity for you to just put a logo that kind of fills up the entire screen here. Doesn't have to have any words on it. It would just be kind of just the logo itself, right? The other thing you can do here is you can add a cover photo. So if you click on here on the right-hand side, you would click to add a cover photo. And this would be something where if somebody did click on that page, that you have kind of this big banner image up here at the top that you guys can put on your page, okay? Other than that, obviously you can fill it up with other things. So you can come in here and actually start to create posts. So you can add photos, you can, put text in here. All of the things that kind of make your page more robust are never going to hurt you. But one thing to keep in mind here is that it's not necessarily important for ads. So I would say probably a very small percentage of people, in the single digit percentages, were ever going to click on your actual page from the ad. So when the ad pops up, you're going to have your offer, and there's going to be a place to click to actually opt in, right? In this case, we're going to be running a lead ad. And so 99% of people are going to see the ad, they're going to see the image or the video, they're going to see the headline, and then they're going to go ahead and click to go through kind of the funnel or the lead ad that you have set up for them, right? So getting this really, really dialed in to be just super beautiful is not that important. But what I would do is I would just make sure, again, that this little picture right here has a nice logo in it that kind of fills up the whole circle, because again, that's going to be what shows on the ad. And then just so it doesn't look completely blank, if somebody does click on it, I would go ahead and put a banner image here or a cover photo by clicking there. And, I wouldn't mind coming in here and, maybe making a couple posts just to give it a little bit of life to your page, okay? But nothing crazy because, again, most people aren't going to see it, so it's not that important for ads. All right, so that is the page, okay? Now, the other thing here is the actual ad account. Now, the good news is adding this is literally just as simple as adding the page. All you're going to do here is you're going to click on ad accounts. You're going to come up to this same exact blue button up here, click add, and you're going to have those same exact choices for your ad account, okay? So you're going to come down here to the bottom. You're going to create a new ad account, just like that. And then we can title it the same thing so that we keep ourselves relatively organized. So we're going to go ahead and put Atlas example. Now, for time zones, I like to leave everything on New York personally, because the ad cycles based on the time zone that you're in. And so this is a little bit of an advanced tactic or an advanced tip, but I'll just give it to you so you guys have it in your arsenal, is that when you make a change to an ad, a lot of the times it's good that that you're making changes kind of when the day refreshes. At least that's been my experience. And so for me, what I like to do is I like to set it on East Coast time. I used to live in Hawaii, so it was kind of nice because I'd have it set on East Coast time, and then essentially it'd be cycling past midnight at 6 p.m. my time. So it gave me time essentially where I could make some changes in the evening and it would cycle. Okay, so even if you're on West Coast, I just personally recommend running everything on New York time just because it lets the ads cycle a little bit faster and allows you to kind of make those updates and kind of see them in real time when that midnight rolls around. So what you would do here is you would go ahead and just click next. You would say, this is for my business, and go ahead and click create. And once that's created, now you're going to see this screen, which is going to allow you to pick which people on here are going to have access to it. Now, when you set up this account, your name is automatically going to be here. This guy right here is my business partner. I actually own a gym in Maui, so he's my business partner. We're actually using the Fusion Fit business account for this example. But we'll go ahead and give him access too. He's a good guy. Look him up. And we'll go ahead and click on the bottom one here, which is give full control, right? And go ahead and click assign. Then the last part is you're going to add payment info. Okay, so you're not going to be able to run an ad until you actually added your payment info. But again, we're going to be using the other example for this. But if you guys did want to do this, again, you would just click add payment info. It would come up and you would just go through these steps. Okay, so that is that. So now we have these two guys set up. We have the page set up and we have the ad account set up. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to come into our Facebook Ads Manager, and we are going to go ahead and create a campaign. So what we want to do here, now you're going to see this is very, very similar to TikTok. We're going to have campaigns, we're going to have ad sets, and we are going to have ads. Okay, so all of this is pretty much identical to what we saw on TikTok. So again, all the same learning that you had before is going to apply. So what we're going to do here is we are going to click on create. When you're in the campaign section, the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to come down here to where it says lead ads. Okay, so again, these are all very similar. You will notice that on Facebook, like I mentioned to you guys, there is not a follow option, right? So that is something exclusive to TikTok, but the lead ads is very similar. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to go ahead and click on lead ads. And we are going to come down here and go ahead and create that. And again, all of this should look very, very similar. So once you're in here, again, you don't really have to customize any of this stuff. You're just going to leave that kind of all as is, and you're going to go ahead and click next. All right, now, once you are on the ad set or the ad group, we're going to make sure that this guy right here is on instant forms. And then we are going to slide down here and we are going to choose our Facebook page. We're going to go ahead and use this one, Atlas Advertising. We're going to go ahead and view terms, accept the terms, and we are all set with that. Make sure it's in there. All right. Once we have that, we're going to come down here. And the cool thing about Facebook is that we can actually run smaller budgets. So on here, we can drop our budget all the way down to $5. Now, the reason I like to keep budgets low is it allows us to split test even more, right? So the lower we can push the budget down, the more we can kind of spread across our split testing, right? Because we want to run several ads. We want to run several images, several videos, several headlines. We want to really be able to kind of dive in and really test this stuff. And so by dropping the budget down, it allows us to do that a little bit better. Actually, funny enough, and Chris is a big fan of this too, when we were running t-shirt ads as an example, I mean, we were doing, over $1 million a month in sales, and it was like 90% $5 ads. So you've never seen so many $5 ads in your life because we were running about $20,000 a day. But again, it was just this strategy where we just had all these micro ads that we would just test. Now, once an ad did well, we would start to crank the budget behind those ads. But you just saw this big string of $5 ads when we would run these campaigns, because again, we wanted to see what was working and what wasn't, scale the winners, cut the losers. And, that was really the strategy. So we're going to go ahead and set this to $5. We're going to come down here and we are going to edit our audience. So if we come in here to edit, you can see here that this is now on United States. We can come down here into show more options. And we can essentially kind of customize this the way we want. So if we want to go to language here, we can go English, all. And for age, we can come in here to age. We can set our minimum age. So maybe we want to set this like to 25. And all of this, we're going to go ahead and leave as is. Okay. So this is nice here. Kind of these placements are, some of this stuff is new actually with Facebook. This whole Advantage Plus thing is pretty new. But it's basically kind of having Facebook do some of the heavy lifting for you, right? So they're actually using a lot of like AI or just kind of customizations in the back where they're essentially making your ads look as good as possible without you having to do it. So in the early days of Facebook, you had to do a lot of these customizations yourself. You'll notice that when you're running ads and you have like different sizes of, obviously when you're looking at an ad on a reel versus looking at an ad on a news feed, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, there's different sizings. So a lot of times Facebook will essentially help you with that and kind of do a lot of that sizing for you so that you don't have to, do too much. Now you can still customize it and we'll see that when we run the ad, but this Advantage Plus stuff kind of makes it so that the placements and the actual creative and all that stuff, it's kind of doing some of the heavy lifting for you, okay? So we'll go ahead and leave that just like that. And we'll go to next. And we'll see here we have our page right here. And now the last step is that we want to actually choose the creative. So we're going to come down here into Add Media. And I'm going to go ahead and add a video. I'll go ahead and pull that over. All right. And we're going to go ahead and pull over that same video that we did with Chris on TikTok, just to use as an example. So we'll go ahead and pull that over. And we will go ahead and click next. Now, it's going to tell us here that it's recommending for a 15-second video. Now, the reason it's doing this is so that it can be shown on all of the different media types. So this is something that you want to keep in mind if you are running videos, that you do want to have shorter versions that you can use for things like Reels or essentially Shorts, because you have a limit there, right? So by us having a little bit longer video, it's not going to allow us to be on all of the, all of the different placements. But just so you guys know, for future, if you want to run an ad, we highly recommend that you do have if you're using a video, have a 15-second version so that can be shown. As far as with images, then it doesn't matter. You can kind of do whatever you want. Okay. We'll go ahead and click next. And here we're going to see a little bit of kind of what they're trying to do here. So they're essentially, you can see they're taking this and they're showing us that, hey, if this is in the search results, it's going to look a little funny. If it's in the feed, same thing. But this is really kind of essentially built for the reel side, the story, because of the sizing, right? So it's going to say that these ads are not going to show up in certain placements because they are not the correct aspect ratio. But what we can do is when we have time, right, we can replace these videos, right? So we can say, okay, this is the one we want to use for this size. Then we go into Canva, and especially if it's images, this is super simple, right? Is that we come in here and we put in a 1x1 image, which is going to be a square. And then in this case, we put in a 16:9, which is going to be that traditional rectangle, right? And we can just come in here and we can replace those with the proper sizing so that we can have that all lined up. All right, so that's what we would do normally, but for the sake of time, we're just going to go ahead and click next. And then this is where Facebook is going to do some of this kind of Advantage Plus stuff that I was talking about, right? So they're going to kind of come in here and they're going to say, hey, if you make these changes, that we're going to think that you're going to get about a 3% lower cost per result. And so you can essentially wait and see what they do here, and you can toggle this on or off. Generally, I do toggle this on just because the recommendations that they make are generally, they know what they're doing. So they're giving you a bit of, kind of their AI working in the background. But for the sake of time on this, just because the preview is processing and I want to get to some other stuff, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to go ahead and click done. All right. Now, for the last piece of this, we are going to come down and we're going to do a couple things. One is we're going to fill in our text here. This is going to be our primary text and our headline. So in this one, it could be learn how to grow your TikTok following. And here you can see that Facebook is giving us some recommendations. And so we can come in here and we can even have different variations that they're going to give us. These are going to be kind of internal split tests that they do that we can choose, which are pretty cool. So I selected a couple of those. And then we can come down here to where it says headline, and we can put in our headline. So we're going to say TikTok followers, Follower Academy. And we'll say learn TikTok in 3 easy steps, right? So I'm not spending a ton of time on the copy here, because obviously, we can come in here and dial that in, but just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. And then we can come in here to, now again, we don't have these all sized properly. So they're for stories and reels. Like if we come down here on the right side into stories and reels, you'll see that these look really good, right? Because they're sized. So if we take the time to make sure that those other aspect ratios are dialed in, then all of these are going to look good, right? But here, again, we can click on the different ones to see, okay, this is how it's going to look in the feed. This is how it's going to look on stories and reels. This is how it's going to look in stream. And we can see, which ones look good. And if we do need to make any changes, we can do that, right? But this is basically giving us all of the different ways that it's going to look based on where it's being shown, okay? The last part of this is going to be similar to TikTok, right? Same thing. So we're going to come in here to where it says create form. We're going to go ahead and create the form. And you're going to see that this looks almost identical. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do here right out of the gate is you're going to want to click to settings here at the top, and you're going to click where it says open, okay? What that means is it's going to allow for this ad to be shared, right? We don't really want this to ever be restricted, because that means if somebody sees it and they're like, ooh, this is cool, I want to share it with my friend, they're not going to be able to do that. So this is always on restricted by default. So the first thing I always do when I build a lead form is I come into settings and I set it to open. That way it's going to allow it to be shared. Okay, so we come back to content here at the top. We're going to go ahead and title this. This is going to be our Atlas form. We'll call it Atlas Facebook example. And again, we're going to leave this on more volume. Now, a little bit different here with the intro on TikTok versus Facebook. So if you remember on TikTok, I said you guys definitely want to add that extra piece. We didn't do it because it was just been some extra steps to put an image and a headline. But on TikTok, it puts that extra stuff at the top of the same page. So it doesn't require the user to have to click an extra click. With Facebook, it does. So here you can see with this intro right here, if I were to put an intro, thanks for your interest in our, we'll say, TikTok Academy, right? That's where it's shown, right? And then it's going to take your logo here from the page. Again, this is why I said that logo is important, because you're going to see it multiple times. You're going to see it on the ad. You're going to see it on the landing page. So have a nice little logo that you put on your Facebook page. It pops up there. And then you can put an image here, and it'll tell you here the recommended size. And then here, you can write a little bit more about the offer. So this is cool if you want to have a little bit more indoctrination as far as into what you have. But the thing I don't like about this is that it does create an extra step, right? So basically you can see that it puts this greeting as an extra click that the user has to do. So with a lot of times I will split test this, and I'll run a couple But for the first one, what I recommend for you guys is to really just take this off. So we're just going to remove the greeting, and you'll see up here where it says intro 1 of 4. Watch when I click this. Boom. It goes to 1 of 3, right? So it's removing an extra step that the user is going to have to go through because they've already seen the video or they've already seen the image. They know what they're opting into. So when they click on it, do they really need to see another image that says something? Maybe. It depends on what it is. But for most things, we can skip that, and now we can just go straight into the actual lead capture, okay? Again, a little different from TikTok. TikTok, I always do it because it just puts it at the top as like a nice little header. On Facebook, it does add it as an extra click. So I don't like to mess with my conversion, so I generally take it off. So now we're going to go into questions. Now, questions here, again, is going to be almost identical. You're going to have to fill in this top part where we're going to say, we will contact you about this offer. Something like that. Again, you can click here and they will give you some examples on this, right? We'll use your information to send you weekly newsletters. We'll use your information to contact you about events. So something there to just let them know what you're doing with this information, okay? Then same thing down here, we're going to come and we're going to add phone number. So we're going to go here where it says add category. We're going to go ahead and add a category. And we are going to go to contact fields and then go to phone number. All right. And then we're going to click on these little dots right here on the left-hand side. We're going to go ahead and slide that up. And now we're going to have full name, email, and phone number. Now, just so you guys know, on some things, when you're pushing this information, you might want to have first and last name. It just depends on kind of how you're using this lead ad. Different places where you send this information to might work better with a full name. And some places where you send this information to might work better with first and last name. For high level, it doesn't really matter. But for things like Zoom, as an example, we might be showing you some ways that you can actually opt people into Zooms in the future. Things like that, you actually have to separate out into first and last name. And so for something like that, you would just go ahead and click the trash can on full name, go to add category, go to contact fields, or I'm sorry, user information right here, and then come down here and put in first name, add category, user information, last name. And then again, drag that so that it is kind of in order. And you could do that as well, right? So a couple options, again, just depending on where you're sending the information, but for high level, it doesn't really matter, okay? So once that's dialed in, we'll go ahead and leave that as is. Same thing here. We're going to go ahead and pull a privacy policy. So I'll just go ahead and pull the one off of my site real quick here. So we'll just go to Apex Agency, slide down, go ahead and grab that privacy policy right here, copy it, and go ahead and drop in that privacy policy link. Again, if you guys don't have a privacy policy on your site yet, I'm sure Chris will be providing you stuff, anything on Atlas, or if you're doing it for anything else, any other business, then you can go ahead and, Google privacy policy and kind of set this up on your own site. All right. So once that's set up, the last step here is going to be the thank you page. Now, this is kind of one of my favorite pages to play with because at this point, you've already collected all of the lead information. Now you kind of have this extra bonus time. It's like the bonus round of the video game where you've already collected the information and now you can do something else with it. Now, one of the things I showed you guys on TikTok was how you can book to a calendar. This is really good for certain industries where maybe they're booking an appointment and things like that. So you can capture the lead information and then send them to a calendar. But then with an Atlas, as an example, you can actually send them to a landing page or to a funnel to sell them something, right? So you can actually, now you've captured the information, you have their lead. So you've kind of gone through that step of capturing the lead. And now you can say, you could take them to somewhere to actually make money. So in this example with TikTok, right, we're essentially giving somebody a way, or let's say a class in this case, where they can go create followers for their account, right? So then what next thing we could do on this thank you page is we could say something to the effect of, first of all, let them know that they're going to get what we just sent them. So we could be like, your free mini course has been sent to your email, right? Something like that. Maybe put a little smiley face on there for everybody. Well, and then for the description, we could say something to the effect of, if you want to learn how to make money with this strategy, can't spell strategy. Dagish. That's STRAT. There we go. All right. Then go ahead and click the link below, right? And so this gives us an extra opportunity to now push them to our landing page. So this is really powerful if you're doing this with an Atlas or something where you can actually push them to a funnel. This is where you can get the best of both worlds, right? We can capture the lead information, push it to high level, which I'm going to show you, nurture it on the lead side, but now have the bonus round to actually push them to actually purchase, right? Especially if this is low ticket, this is a great opportunity to push them to a low ticket offer that they can go ahead and purchase on their own. So in that case, what we would do here is we would put a link. I'm just going to put Google in here just for now, just to kind of have a placeholder, but this would be essentially where your website would go. And then on the call to action, we can go ahead and say, check out our program. Obviously, this is not the most snazzy wording here on the fly, but again, just so you guys understand, again, we're telling them, hey, whatever we promised them has been sent to them via email. And then it says here, if they want to learn more about making money with this strategy, go ahead and click the link below. And then here they could check out our program, or I'm sure anybody and everybody on this call could probably come up with something more catchy than that. All right. Okay. So now we are going to go ahead and click it looks like we got everything, right? So a little recap, we titled it, settings, we made sure it's open. We didn't do the intro on this one just so we don't have that extra step. We added the phone number. We filled in our description here of how we're going to use it. We added our privacy policy, and we added a thank you page that in this case is going to push them to our paid funnel, okay, or something that we're actually offering, okay? So we're going to go ahead and create the form. All right, so this looks good to go now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run this. Now, this is a brand new account, so it might give me a little issue here, but we're going to go ahead and see. We can edit this out for the recording if there's any issue. But let's make sure. All right, Eureka, we're in there. All right, so we have successfully run our first Facebook lead ad with the group, okay? So again, kind of a recap of what we learned with TikTok. It's not all that much different, few little things here and there, but again, it's a kind of a reinforcement of how powerful it is to learn the strategy, because now by learning this very simple strategy, we can now run traffic on two of the most powerful platforms out there. Now, the thing about TikTok and Facebook, and this is where it's going to get really cool, and we're going to talk about this later on in the week, is we're going to be doing retargeting. Now, retargeting is, again, we're going to use that pixel, and it's a good thing actually that the pixel wasn't on this call, because we're going to dive way deeper into the pixel on retargeting. But we're going to essentially be dropping a tracking beacon so that we can essentially follow your customers around the internet when they see the first ad. Okay. So when you're on Facebook and TikTok, these are and I should say Facebook, when I say Facebook, I also include Instagram, because obviously Facebook and Instagram, for those of you that don't know, are all run under the same platform. So when we ran this ad right now, it's running it to Facebook and it's also running it to Instagram at the same time. Okay. So when we're running an ad on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which we learned yesterday, those are going to be the major platforms where people are scrolling. It's kind of like they call this really push marketing is the term for it, right? So it means that when you're seeing an ad on Facebook or you're seeing an ad on TikTok, you're not necessarily going there to buy. Actually, in fact, you're definitely not going there to purchase, right? You're just on there being social, aka social network, and you're scrolling and you're waiting until you get that kind of variable reward 777 that pops up. And then you're like, okay, this is cool. And you check it out, right? Now, because you didn't necessarily go to those platforms to purchase, a lot of times people need to see the ad multiple times to essentially ultimately purchase and ultimately make a decision, right? And we know this because when we run ads, 99 times out of 100, the retargeting ads are the most profitable ads. What that means is that the ads that are shown after like imagine you land on the ad initially from scrolling, then you watch the ad, and now we drop the tracking beacon or we drop the pixel. Now we can show that ad over and over again on different platforms, right? So those ads are always the best converting. So we know that we essentially are using Facebook and TikTok to have that initial exposure. And then once we have that initial exposure, we heavily use retargeting to show that ad over and over and over again on TikTok, on Facebook, and then even using Google. Google is a really powerful one that we're going to talk about, because Google will essentially follow you around the whole internet. If you use Google's tracking pixel, Google has essentially the advertising space of like 90% of the websites on the internet. So now if you're going to, let's say, you go and you see your ad initially on Facebook or Instagram, that's the best place to get it seen, because that's where the eyeballs are. That's where people are sitting mindlessly scrolling, right? But again, they might not purchase, or they're probably not going to purchase on that first click, because they just weren't there to purchase to begin with. You kind of caught them off guard, right? Even if it's a great offer, it's kind of like you caught them off guard. Okay, that's push marketing. Pull marketing is like Google. That's like when you go to Google and you search for something and you're looking for, pizza in your area because you're hungry and you look for the best pizza spot. That's an opportunity in pull marketing where the conversion usually happens right away because they're searching for it, right? But with push marketing, it's different. With push marketing, you're showing that initial ad, you're dropping the tracking beacon, and now you're following them everywhere. And like I said, with Google, it's cool because they have the ad space of 90% of the internet. So you drop the initial tracking beacon on Facebook and TikTok, which is where everybody's spending the majority of their time scrolling, right? If you look at people's phones, it's like hours a day that they're spending on these two platforms. And then after you've dropped the tracking beacon, especially let's say if it's a Google tracking beacon, which we're going to talk more about, now they go to Huffington Post, they see your ad again. They go to New York Times, they see your ad again. They go to Washington Post, they go to TMZ, they go to any websites out there that have Google ad space, and they're seeing your ad. Imagine what this is doing. This is building massive, massive credibility. And so this is really kind of the nature of where it gets really good. Okay, so we have the ad running here, and we are going to go ahead and dive in to hooking that up into high level. Okay, so once we have this ad running here, we are going to go ahead and jump over into our high level. Now we're going to spend a little more time on this today and show you guys how this all connects in. All right, so we're going to go here onto our high level, and we're going to click on settings here in the bottom left. And once we come down here, we are going to come to integrations, and we are going to see this integrations page. Now, last time we had TikTok, we would go ahead and connect TikTok. Here, we're going to go ahead and connect Facebook. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to select the page, and you're going to select the advertising account, okay? Okay, so you have your ad account and you have your page, and this is what is selected. Now, once you have this connected, you're going to come right here, just like you went to the TikTok forms field mapping. You're going to come up into Facebook forms field mapping, and voila, we have our lead ad that we just ran, okay? So now that we have this ad, we're going to go ahead and click, same exact thing, click on map fields. And now we're going to see that we did a little different, right? Because we did first and last name. Now, the cool thing about high level is you can do it either way, right? You have first name, last name, full name, doesn't matter, okay? So here, it already did the mapping for us. First name is first name, last name is last name, email is email, phone number is phone number. All that looks good. And so we go ahead and we click save, all right? So now that ad is officially connected into our high level, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back into that automations tab over here. So we're going to come over here. We're going to come down to automation. And we're going to go ahead and create a new workflow. All right. Now, again, high level has a lot of really cool workflows here. You can go in and you can dive into a lot of these. They're actually really cool to just kind of open up and play with because it gives you an idea of all the cool customizations that you can do. But for this example, we are going to just start from simplicity, a blank canvas here, start from scratch, and we're going to go ahead and click continue. All right, so this is where, again, kind of a recap from yesterday, but with this, we're going to be doing Facebook versus TikTok. So we're going to go ahead and click on add a trigger, and we're going to scroll down here to Facebook lead form submitted. So again, this is all the same stuff, right? But you're accessing two humongous platforms, and it's such an advantage that you're basically doing almost the exact same thing. So instead of clicking TikTok this time, we're going to do Facebook form submitted. We're going to click on add filter. We are going to click to select the filter. We're going to go in form, meaning we're going to select the form. And we are going to go to the Atlas Facebook example. Boom. That's all you got to do there. And you're going to go ahead and click save trigger. All right. So that is going to be the trigger that is going to cause all of our actions to happen. Okay. So one of the things that I like to do when a lead comes in that I think is really important, I'm actually going to save this right now. We're going to call this Atlas Facebook example. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay. So one of the things that is included in high level that's going to make organization very, very easy for you is a built-in CRM. They actually built basically a duplicate of Pipedrive, which is my favorite CRM by far. It's a visual CRM. So it allows you to essentially see where everybody is kind of at in the process at a glance. And so what we're going to do here is we are actually going to build a CRM pipeline for this, right? So we're going to come back to this, but we're going to get that CRM ready to go. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to come in here to where it says opportunities, and we're going to click right here where it says pipelines up here at the top, and we're going to create a new pipeline. All right. And with this, we're going to title it Facebook lead ad. And, essentially we would want to put some description on here of, where what the purpose of this particular funnel is. So if this one was to essentially offer our TikTok Academy or to do things like that, we could essentially put that here so we could stay organized. But for this example, we'll just say this is the Facebook lead ad example. And this is where we're going to essentially add our stages. Now, this can be very, very simple. But it's going to be, something to the effect of new lead. That's where everybody's going to come. And then we could have something like called. We could put left message. We can say hot lead. We could say signed up. And we could say, even add one down here for those that are not interested, okay? So these are going to be kind of the categories that everybody's going to go into. And so once we click save, right, and we have that, we can come back over here and we can come into this and we can go ahead and put in our Facebook lead ad example. And now we're going to see that anybody that we bring in through this lead ad, we're going to have them initially go here into this column right here of new lead. But then as we talk to them and as we essentially nurture those leads, they're going to go down the path here where we talk to them. Maybe we left them a message. Maybe we talked to them and they were really interested. So they go in the hot lead. And then eventually they're either going to go into signed up or not interested, right? And you can customize this however you want. I've done this very, very intricate for fundraising. We had everything from sign the NDA to sign the LOI to wired to verified as an accredited investor. So depending on what you're doing this for, you customize this so that it makes sense for you. Going to come over here and we'll find our... All right, let's get back to where we're going. Okay, Atlas Facebook example. All right, so back to our automation. So now that we have our pipeline set up, we're going to go ahead and build this out. Okay, so we have connected our Facebook lead form already. And the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to add a tag. So we're going to come in here, we're going to add a contact tag, and we are going to say that this is our Facebook lead ad example. And add a new tag. All right. Then we can go ahead and click save action. And the next thing that I like to do is go ahead and now add them to that CRM. So we're going to go ahead and slide down here towards the bottom. And you're going to see this here where it says create an update opportunity. Okay. We're going to go ahead and click that. And this is going to allow us to stay really organized with these leads that come in because we're going to put them into that pipeline that we just built called Facebook lead ad example. So we're going to go ahead and click there. We're going to click new lead. And we don't have to title any of this stuff. We don't even have to put a lead value in. The only thing I like to do is toggle this on so I can move somebody to a previous stage. So if I move them to, let's say, hot lead, and I wanted to move them back to contacted, or I move them into not interested, and then I want to move them back into interested, I can do that. And so I always toggle this one on. And then lead status, we're going to put on open. And that's all you have to do right there, and go ahead and click save action. So far we have the tag, we have the opportunity, and now we can start to use our email and text autoresponders. Now, this is really cool because this is where you can come in and you can actually build an entire autoresponder by coming in here, putting your name. We'll put email, subject, thanks for your interest in ... And then here, we'll just put some test copy. And this would be where, if you were offering something on the actual ad, on the lead ad, you can attach it right here. So this could be where that actual PDF gets delivered. You can see here that if I wanted to, I can insert an image, right? I can put a link here, and I can essentially, use this to deliver whatever I want via email, right? Add attachment right here. Click here. You can add an attachment. And so this is really where you can focus in and you can build out a really, really nice email autoresponder kind of all in one place, right? And so the way that we would do that is we would come in here and we would click save action, and now we have an email. Then we can come in here and we can put a text. So we could do SMS, and same thing. We could put our test copy in here, ... And now we have a text. Now, let's say you want this to keep going. Now, one of the things I like to do actually before we kind of drag this out and do more emails and more texts is we can do an internal notification. This is really cool for letting you know when the lead came in. So you can put this anywhere because all of these that are happening here are all happening at the same time, right? So there's no delay in between these. The way you create a delay is down here at the bottom. You would click the plus, and then you would go down here and you would click wait. And then we could add, let's say, 1 day. And now we could send another email, right? Add attachment. Again, you can always test these here and go ahead and click save, right? And then we can do another text, send a text, again, test copy, ... whatever you want to say. And then same thing here. If we want to keep this going, we can just add again another wait. And this one, let's say we don't want it to show up at the same time. Maybe we want it to be just a little bit different so they're not getting text every 24 hours at the exact same time. So we can even be a little bit creative here. And let's see, when we go to the wait right here, when we go to the wait, we can set this one at, let's say, 23 hours, right? So it's a little bit different. Boom. And then we can keep this going, right? So we can keep this going for 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, however long we want to do it, we can do that. The main thing we want to do, though, that I like to do, at least when I'm doing this, is I toggle on stop on response. So what that means is all of this communication is trying to get the other person to respond to you so that you can talk to them manually, right? You can use high level and now talk to them manually via text and email on a personal basis. But we want to use automation in the beginning to get them to respond. It might take them 1 message to respond. It might take them 2 messages to respond. It might take them 7 messages to respond, right? And so, so this is where we, can build this out. But if we do that, we want to come into settings right here. And we want to make sure we put this toggle on, which is called stop on response. That means if they do respond, we don't just keep pelting them with more information, right? And so always save early and often. So we always want to click save. And now it's going to stop that on response, okay? Last thing I'll show you, and I'm going to turn this over to Chris so he can stop on time, but I do like to add a internal notification. So up here in the top, before we get into any of those waits, what you can do here is you can actually notify yourself. So you can click here to send internal notification. You can do email or text or both. I like to do text. And then what I can say is I can say, you have a new Facebook lead. And now I can actually put their information in there, contact, right? So their information, their full name, comma, email, and phone number. Make sure you're doing contact and not user. Contact is them, user is you, all right? And then phone. So now I'm going to get their name, email, and their phone number texted to me. I can do it to all users or an assigned user. And every time a lead comes in, I get notified right there. First thing that happens, right? Go ahead and click publish, click save. And now once that lead comes in, I'm going to get notified first thing. I'm going to get a text. I can even get an email if I want to set that up. They're going to get tagged. They're going to get put into a pipeline. And now they're going to get put into a nice, beautiful autoresponder just like that. Okay. So that was my lesson for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this 3rd day of Paid Traffic Academy. And I look forward to see you guys on the next one. All right. Aloha, everybody.
Let me just kind of put a bow on top of everything. First thing I want to say is when Michael and I learned ads years ago, there was no training like this available. Even the people that were training very specifically for e-commerce, not exactly for different opportunities like we're doing, not for sales funnels, not stuff like that. Second of all, is some of you might feel like you need to fill in the gaps. Maybe you feel like, wait, hold on, I need a little bit more information about this, a little bit more information about that. Keep in mind that Google is going to be your secret weapon, maybe even ChatGPT. When you need information about something, Facebook has documentation about almost every single aspect. And so when I'm learning, I don't worry about what I didn't learn. I fill in the gaps by doing a little bit of additional research. Another thing is Facebook versus TikTok. So yesterday we taught TikTok ads. TikTok ads are going to require like $20 a month minimum per ad, or sorry, $20 a day minimum per ad. Facebook is $5 a day or even $1 a day minimum per ad. So Facebook has its advantages over TikTok in the cost category. You can experiment with a lot of small ads, get some results, and then pause the losers, scale the winners. TikTok, it takes a little bit more money to get going. So TikTok's a little simpler, but it costs a little bit more. Facebook's a little bit more complex, but it gives you just much better targeting, gives you much better audiences, stuff like that. It's worth learning it all. And so when it comes to paid advertising, this is a skill that sets apart amateurs from professionals. So if you watch this and you feel like you're still one of an amateur, my advice is go through the whole entire week with us. Attend live whenever you can on these sessions, because live in the chat, we're in the background helping people out. Okay, so that brings a conclusion to day 3, Facebook ads with Chris Record and Michael Crouch. You guys, inside of the Facebook group, there's a place to ask questions. There's a place for feedback. I would love to be able to read your comments in the post in the Facebook group. So with that being said, unfortunately, we've got to stop. We have a schedule over here. We have different business meetings, different things we do. We've got to come to a stop right now. We look forward to seeing you guys on tomorrow's Zoom, where we're going to be talking about retargeting ads, pixels, and a lot of exciting stuff. So with that being said, take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Facebook ads remix. I got 5 on it. Let's go. If you've ever placed Facebook ads, you know exactly what I'm talking about. $5 crispy bills. Here we go, yo. Yeah. I'm like an addict, addicted to running ads for traffic. Getting high off conversions like it's a bad habit. Taking massive action, get my traffic flowing like rapids. And writing copy like magic, these sales are automatic. Hypnotizing them, my advertising is enticing them. Visualizing my pixel rising, increasing size in them. Got my lookalike audiences, they growing nice in them. Got my lifetime customer value, it just keeps on rising up. I'ma take it to the gram, while these suckers drop 100 grand. I'ma drop 5 and watch it expand. And if that profit high though, and that ad viral, I'ma duplicate that campaign and run 5 more.
Run 5 more. You got some bucks on it, 25 per day.
Okay.
But is that enough on it?
Let's 10x these ad sets and go get more traffic. Grab them $5 bills from underneath your mattress. You gon' need some practice. Here's a couple tactics. Hit them with the add to cart to mature the fast clicks. After that, your pixel firing in rapid fashion. Switch it back to conversion ads and watch it cash in. Started from the basement, but my ads were basic. Couldn't get any sales, $2,000 wasted. But I didn't give up. Instead, I switched it up and changed my objectives to page post engagement.
I got 5 on it, messing with these Facebook ads. I got 5 on it, we ain't running up big tabs. I got 5 on it, flipping products in the newsfeed. I got 5 on it, damn, my ads accounts looking juicy.
30 tabs open, laptop smoking. I'm at a coffee shop placing ads in West Oakland. Now I'm feeling focused and my biz exploding, but my PayPal balance just got frozen. Hot damn, can I catch a break, man? $5 bills pop, blocking like a break dance. Non-stop flipping hot products like a baker man. Now I'm counting up this cash like I'm Rain Man. I got a nickel on my necklace, plus a checklist that I follow to a T when I place my ads for breakfast. Diggity dot, I love my eyes and I cross my X's. Give me that wallet for the 5, let's go buy impressions. I'ma buy them by the truckload. Start them all at 5, if they don't perform, lower them to $1 though. Target by the zip code, retarget with my pixel, whoa. My campaign cash flowing like a rental.
I got 5 on it, messing with these Facebook ads. I got 5 on it, we ain't running up big tabs. I got 5 on it, flipping products in the newsfeed. I got 5 on it, damn, my ads accounts looking juicy.
Let's make this right, man. Not trying to fight, man. Talking to my ads rep, let me tell him what happened. I was taking massive action, duplicating ad sets, driving traffic, capturing leads like a freaking bandit.
Like a bandit?
Wait, no, like an angel, capturing attention with my halo. Clicks were only 30 cents, but traffic came in too slow, so I tripled up my ad spend, but now you charging way more. Yo, I had to switch it up. Ran dark post ads with an orange hat, plus the orange whip, call them orange ghost ads. So bad, making money quick, earning this escalate to your boss man. Come on fam, I'm just trying to drop like a couple grand. $5 campaigns, they add up really quick, man.
I got 5 on it, messing with these Facebook ads. I got 5 on it, we ain't running a big tab.